Once we surrender to Baba, does he still let us have some free will in terms of deciding what job we take and other ordinary decisions of our life, or does he change these things?
He gives you back your own life. He keeps you as you are. He makes no changes, excepting for the fundamental change that when you dedicate your life to him, he gives it back to you and says, this is not your life, this is my life. And you look after it as a trustee. So you can't afford to displease him. You have the responsibility of a trustee with you. You can't just do anything you like in the world. You have to keep him pleased all the time. Your free will is there. Your sense of discrimination is there. Your mind is there. Your thoughts are there. Everything as it is completely given back to you. He doesn't make any changes at all. Yes.
If we ask Baba to help us with these little decisions, does that bother him too much?
No. It will not bother him. You can ask. It will not bother him at all. Anything you can ask, but ask as a child. As a child, ask the mother, and the mother gives. And if the mother doesn't give, don't weep much and take it, that the mother knows that if certain things are given to the child, it will be harmful to the child, so she doesn't give. So he knows what to give and what not to give.
Adi, was there a period of time that Baba was indifferent to you? Because sometimes some of us experience first Baba's love a lot, and then later on his indifference towards us.
Yes. That's the thing one has to pass through. Had to pass through in contact with him. And as my experience goes, he was always very loving indeed. But if he has something in mind for you, he makes you go through a great mental suffering and even a torture. But it's not a torture in the sense that we would have torture in the world because of our misdeeds or because of any other reasons. They are joyful tortures, just as the mother suffers for the child. Baba suffers us for us and makes us suffer also. But there is a suffering. During the latter years, say about 6 or 7 years before Baba left his body, I was given a very peculiar treatment by him all along, and I could not realize what it all meant. Of course, during our lifetime, he trained us, he gave us an ample training to stand up to all his indifference and stand up to all his treatment, which we never received at his hand before. In spite of that, the last 6 or 7 years that I was placed in my office and Baba was at Meherazad, and no one from Meherazad was allowed to come to Ahmednagar, and all the entire provision of things that were required by Meherazad, I had to send them to them and see that they are fully furnished in every respect. So I had to go to Meherazad every day. And I would go inside the Mandali's hall, and Baba would ask me, why have you come here? I said, Baba, I come here for what? What do you have to say? Say out. Sit down. Say? I said, yes. Have you finished? Go away. I said, all right. I would go out. Immediately he would send out Bhau Kasturi or somebody. He's already standing there out in the compound. Is he talking to somebody? Gaver would come, Eresh would come, anybody would come. Of course, there were all the needs for all those inmates who lived there. So they would talk. Then Bhau would get a message from Baba and come and tell me, Adi is there? He's there. Ask him to go home. I said, all right. I would just give up everything and go home. This went on happening infrequently, not every time. For a few times, I did not feel it. I said, these are of course Baba's ways and we definitely know. But then, when I experienced a little consistency in that, then I started as a human feeling it very much. So much so that when I used to go to my office after my visit to Meherazad, I just entered bathroom, locked the door up and started weeping, weep, and come out with all swollen eyes. And then my mother, yes, for a time she was there. And other my servants who were there, they would look at me and say, what is this? Every time he goes to Meherazad, comes back, goes into the bathroom, locks himself up and weeps and comes out with swollen eyes. What is this? I could not complain to anybody. I could not complain to Baba. I could not say anything to the Mandali. I could not. It was only I who had to just bear up with the situation. And I started feeling very badly about it. But of course, the strength was there. Baba is there. His ways are there. We have lived with Baba for such a long. Even so, once what happened? Faram, who is my typist and steno, he comes out and says, certain note was sent by Baba to me. Somebody may have written, Eresh may have written, or Mani may have written. The person who writes is not responsible. It is Baba who makes him write or makes her write. And it was such a sort of a letter that when Faram read it, he said, Adi, I do not know how you are able to stick to this office. If I was in your place, I would go away from here. I said, Faram, what's the good of going away after living with Baba for so many years? And if Baba treats us well and we stay there, and supposing apparently he treats us and we go away, what is our relationship with MeherBaba? That did not mean that I did not feel. I feel very deeply. The time passed on. And of course, when Baba left his body on the 31st of January 69, and later on, I do not know, I felt that all the so-called treatment and ill treatment that Baba gave was really a blessing in disguise. Because after that I could stick to my office and do the work, or else I do not know what would I have done. I may not have lived in my house or in my office, gone away, did anything to myself, I could not really say. But it was because of that he tried to keep me aloof and strengthened me. And I appreciated that it was blessing in disguise. I would like to tell you something very important indeed. I have been often saying this and bringing in my different talks the same thing over and over again. And I do feel that even after so many repetitions, it is not adequately expressed. Our position with Baba is such, if I call myself a MeherBaba lover, naturally I have to obey him, to serve him, and to love him, and get established in my love. But as I say, love is not the only thing that is enough. I have to have a conviction. Once I asked Baba a question, what is the meaning of conviction? Somebody had asked a question to Baba, and I was present there as an interpreter. He asked a question, what do you mean by conviction, Baba? So Baba said, conviction is a thing wherein anything that is felt by the heart is backed up by the mind, and anything that the mind thinks is backed up by the heart. Of course, those things that pertain to our duties of life, our responsibilities. There are many stray thoughts come and go that doesn't interfere at all. So that is the conviction we should have. And after that, I started thinking over it very deeply, and especially after Baba left the body, that he having talked about God realization, about the inner stages, about the spiritual advancement, but he has not given anything to anyone at all, barring the must we see that they were there. Baba did not make those musts. Of course, Baba gave them a push forward. That was a different thing. But they were already musts. And to the Mandali, nothing at all. They are just as ordinary as they were. That doesn't mean that they did not gain anything. Sometimes I say that during my 47 years with Baba, I have not yet made a beginning. But that doesn't mean that I have not gained anything. It means how high is and where am I. So I'm talking about this conviction. This conviction is such a thing. Hafiz very beautifully puts it. Hafiz, چرا غم از هجران می خوری حافظ در هجران وصل است ارتاد ظلمت است نور. He said, why do you get disappointed because of your separation from your beloved? Separation means ignorance and union means knowledge. Why are you disturbed over it? Why you get disheartened, disappointed over it? Do you know? In separation lies the union and in darkness lies the light. I have come to a conclusion that the longer the period before God realization, the greater the power one gets. And the power is not for oneself, but the power to give that God realization to others. And our relationship with Baba is not of one life at all. It is not like our relationship with a saint or even with a perfect master. Because the perfect master, when he drops his body, he is not connected with illusion at all. Here is the one, the avatar, all along. What if I do not get realization in this? He is going to come back again, or maybe in some other birth, which is definitely there. But what's the good of giving you God realization, which will be only helpful to you, and for your bliss, for your power, for your knowledge? Can you part with it? Can you give to somebody? And to give it to somebody means a great suffering. To acquire such samskaras or prarabdha or yoga samskaras by which you are able to part that to somebody else. And however long it may take, Baba doesn't mind. Because one who really loves Baba and one who really obeys him, I think his name is already registered. He has not to worry at all. The only question is when he puts the switch on and the light comes. What we try to do is, there are people who come and within a short contact with Baba, they expect that the lamp should get lighted. This lamp is lighted when I press the button on. Because of what? Because of the powerhouse that is there at the back. Because the line is laid, the poles are laid, the entire preparation is made. And then, at the fag end of it, when the lamp is there, the switch is there, the switch is put on, in a flash of, you get the lamp. You get the light. Others, what do they expect? They don't bother about the things that are there by way of preparation at all. The powerhouse, the line, the poles, and all the arrangement, they do not bother about it at all. What they say, they take a small wire, fix it up in the house, and a lamp there and a switch, and go on pressing all that light, and there is no lamp at all. There is no light. So we have to understand things, taking this at the background, as to who Avatar is and what does he do, and how things would be really guaranteed for us, provided there is big but, and a sign of interrogation on the top of the but is that we have to really sincerely, honestly. Mistakes do not matter. If I inadvertently commit any mistake, Baba is too generous to pardon me. But there should not be an iota of dishonesty in me. And that is most difficult. If one can be honest 100%, life with Meher Baba is 100%. I do not think he has to do anything. I mean, he, of course, for his work, he may give his contribution as much as he likes. But his life is absolutely registered with him. He has not to worry about it. And he has not to go on thinking that I should get God realization, I should get this and I should get that. Because he's sure to get it. It's only a question of time. And for that he must have that conviction. So I say, conviction, thy name is God realization in disguise. Conviction, thy name is God realization in disguise. And God realization, thy name is conviction realized. So conviction is God realization in our ignorance. The light will come at its own time. I am talking about the conviction and the darkness and ignorance, and the light is gone from here. Yes?
Did Meher Baba discuss Meher's role in his spiritual work at all?
Yes. One day, Baba always said that he loved Mehera the most. And I sometimes wondered where was the necessity for Meher Baba to sometimes repeatedly say that he loved Mehera the most, he loved Mehera the most. And one day, as he was saying this, I thought to myself, what is this off and on? Baba comes out and says that he loves Mehera the most, we know. Then on his own, one day he said, I love Mehera the most. Do you know? I said, yes, Baba, you love her the most. But then, don't think I'm going to give her God realization. Oh. So I do not understand to whom Meher Baba is going to God realization. Give God realization if he's not going to give the God realization to a person whom he loves the most. To whom else? At that time, I could understand the position of Mehera. Not that really she is not going to get God realization. She is so near Baba. But she stands for the entire illusion. Just as Radha was for Krishna, Mehera is for Baba. She represents the entire creation. And the part the creation plays, the part the illusion plays for the reality is indeed very great. And that is why you will see in the book God Speaks, Baba has given a few lines of dedication. This book is dedicated to illusion, which sustains reality. Can you ever think of illusion sustaining reality? It is the reality that sustains illusion. But he has said, this book is dedicated to illusion which sustains reality. The other way around. For us it is so. Because we have to work our way out through illusion. And for us illusion is very, very important. Important in the sense all the things that we do in illusion should not bind us into illusion, but should make us free, come out of illusion. And that is it. So she stands for the entire creation. When, at the time of Mahapralaya, when the entire illusion subsides and fades away for the time being, it goes and involves itself into the reality of God. That is realization. And again it comes out and goes on playing its part all the time. So it's a very great position conceivable by us. Yes?
Adi, could you say something about meditation?
That's a good subject, sir. Once I remember Baba had said about meditation that there was a time when the entire population of the world was very small. People had ample time on hand and little work to do, and they did not know how to spend that time. They started meditating. This was the beginning of meditation. Now let me tell you why this meditation word is specifically confined to an act that a man allots half an hour or 1 hour or more, goes in a corner, meditates, sleeps, hibernates or croaks, we do not know. And that is called meditation. All along, you are listening, asking questions, I am giving you replies, we are sitting here. This is a great meditation. And in the most natural way, I am not to force my mind. Catch the tip of my mind like this and press it somewhere. Not at all, it's most natural. This is meditation. in the most natural way. When I see Meher Baba's picture or film, I get so much engrossed. Do you think if you give yourself a little time and go and sit down in a corner, so many thoughts will rush in you do not know all along, and you sometimes get confused and disturbed. So that is how meditation began, and it is taken up and named differently. Transcendental meditation, transcendent meditation, transcontinental meditation, transmigrating meditation. Different brands are put on it, and it becomes a commodity in the market, a bargain, and one makes money out of it. Meher Baba didn't have to do that. Neither we have come here together to do that at all. Really speaking, Meher Baba deals with your heart, your love, and that is most important. Doesn't his message say that love is the reflection of the unity of God? Kindly listen carefully. It's a very important message. I will not reproduce exactly the words of Baba, but I will reproduce the sense. Love is the reflection of the unity of God into the diversity of the life of man. Man's life is diverse. You and I are different. We are not all together. God is one. So what is that links that oneness with this manyness? God is one and we are many. And what is the bridge between the two? It is love. And that is why even in Christianity it is said God is love and love is God. Christ has said it. Entire spirituality deals with it. Yoga does not refer anything to it at all. Meditation does not refer to it at all. It goes and sits on the top of the mind and go on bouncing upon it all the time. And does not know and calls it meditation. It is not bad, but for a Baba lover it's a waste of time. And if it has to be, if somebody has the hobby, has the liking, he can go in for it. But his entire meditation should be Meher Baba and nothing else. All concerning him, if he is a Baba lover. Otherwise he cannot justify his meditation at all. It should be his picture, it should be his beauty, it should be his complexion, it should be his message, it should be his peacefulness, his knowledge, anything and everything pertaining to him. And that is where we are talking all about. Meher Baba is at the back of all our talk here. This is a great meditation. What other meditation should we go in for? Anything you have to ask, sir, further about it?
Question?
Yes.
In the discourses, Baba refers to the problems that need to be taken care of by a living perfect master. Is Baba saying that we should seek out a living perfect master?
The thing is, Baba has said many things in the discourses about the yogis, about the rishis, about meditation, about perfect masters. But nowhere has he said, will you point me out a single sentence where he has said, go after this perfect master, go after this saint? Nowhere. On the other hand, he has said, keep your hand on my dawan till the very end. And what is the end? The end is not when Baba left the body. The end is not when I die. The end comes. The end of my mind, the Manonash. It is only one life. The birth of the mind and the death of the mind. And all between, there are the births and the millions of births and deaths of the bodies. They are not of the mind. So Baba says, keep your hand on my daman till the very end. The question doesn't arise for me to go anywhere at all. On the other hand, he has issued warning. Do not go here, do not go there. And I shall relate you my own case. I was going to a saint who was a real saint before Baba came into my life. And it was like this, that the lands at Meherabad were purchased by my father after the end of the First World War. When the army vacated their camp from the place, it was all occupied. On the hill, this was the water reservoir, turned into our building later on. And this saint, I used to go to him, my mother, brothers, all of us used to go to him. And one day he asked me to take him to Arangaon. Meherabad was not in existence then at all. And there were no cars in those days. So I took him into a horse carriage. And when we reached there, he got up from the carriage. A 6-foot man, black, like Pukar, very stout and strong. He comes out and says, looks all around, this is a place where a great, great man is going to come. But he doesn't say Meher Baba. That's why they do not say everything. I just took a note about it and forgot. And when Meher Baba chose this place, when after Meher Baba came into our life, he chose this place as his permanent headquarters. And he told us that this man is a real saint. He was in the 5th stage. And then he said he has gone into the 6th. He is a real saint, but you do not go to him. One day, the saint was passing by the gate of my compound house. I was standing on the veranda. Baba was standing right before me. Because before Baba went to Meherabad, he stayed in my house, in my parents' house, of course, which is my office today, and the other rooms. Baba and his mandali stayed there for about a month or more. And this saint was passing by. And he was beckoning me from a distance like this, and I was about to run there. I was a young boy of 18 years old. I did not have the gravity of Baba's instructions, really. I wanted to obey, but I was not so prompt or so careful about it. Then I was about to run when he called me, and Baba was standing nearby. He said, "Stop, where are you going?" I said, "He's calling me. Don't you know that I have told you not to see him?" "Yes, Baba, I'm sorry." And I just did like this, and he went away. So imagine the real saint. And he expressed a desire, this saint expressed a desire that after his death he should be buried in Arangaon, in Meherabad. And his tomb you will find situated near the water well, which supplies water for the last so many years to the entire Meherabad. That is it. He chalks out a line for every individual, puts him on the way. And if you frustrate yourself, and if you stray away and go anywhere, you lose the chance. Baba doesn't lose anything at all. That's why, where is the need for him to say you do not go here and you do not go there? What is he going to gain thereby? I do not understand. Supposing even you may have a little love for Meher Baba, is it going to add to the ocean of love that he is? Not at all. It is for our own good. That's why I say sometimes Meher Baba was very jealous. He would not allow you to go anywhere at all. But what was his jealousy? It was jealousy for your good. My jealousy is selfish. His jealousy is for you. It was no jealousy at all. And that is why I said, do not go anywhere at all. You need not go. If I am not able to see somebody's hand raised up, kindly speak aloud and shout.
I heard that Dr. Duncan may have achieved God realization a few days before he died. Is this true?
I shall have to ask him. I think if all of you give me your signatures along with mine, then I will put the request at the feet of Baba and ask him to ask Don to send me a reply. Yes, it is quite possible for Donkin to have that. But it is never possible for me and you to know whether he had it or not. It is quite possible for Donkin to become God realized before he died. But it is not possible for you and me to know whether he was or whether he was not. That is the situation. What did you say, sir?
Is there any spiritual value in being a vegetarian? Does it have anything to do with spirituality?
I was under the same impression to begin with. And I had become a vegetarian before I joined Baba. And I was kept a vegetarian for 27 years, probably because I had the impression that vegetarianism helps one to be more spiritual. It is not so, sir. Spirituality, as I said, deals with your heart. A vegetarian, a man, here are two persons. One is vegetarian, one is non-vegetarian. The man who is vegetarian is most selfish in his life. He lends money and extracts interest and compound interest. He fleeces the poor persons. And there is a non-vegetarian. He is very generous, he is very liberal, he is very kind and loving. Who is spiritual or who is not spiritual? Please kindly answer this question. There is such a thing that vegetarian diet does not excite our blood so much, or doesn't excite that passion. But mind is much powerful to control, whether he is a vegetarian or whether he is a non-vegetarian. I have seen non-vegetarian persons more control in their life than vegetarian persons. So it doesn't really hold good at all, and it is only a superficial difference between the two. Once I was accosted by an old woman who was a theosophist, and she said, "No, are you secretary to MeherBaba?" I said, "Yes." "Are you vegetarian?" I said, "No." "Oh, you are non-vegetarian?" "Oh, it is very unspiritual to be a non-vegetarian." I said, "Yes." I do not know. And I said, "Kindly listen. You are a vegetarian, I am a non-vegetarian. Now, I'm going to die tomorrow, day after, at any time. Nobody has come to live here forever. If I die tomorrow, you are going to die day after, sometime later. Now, if you die, you are so fond of vegetables that you will go into the vegetation life. And I'm so fond of meat that I will go into the meat life in an animal life. An animal is far higher in evolution than vegetarian. She just folded hands and went away. Did not talk to me.
Did Baba eat meat?
He was not fond of meat. He had no objection for meat. He would also eat, sometimes if doctor gave. He was fond of a little fish more than meat. Yes?
What was the significance of the new life?
Life and new life. The word new is very significant, first of all, to begin with. You see, new life is very, very important and difficult, very important and very difficult to understand. And there are many, many points of view from which it could be explained and discussed and understood. Quite a few years before Baba introduced the new life, when I used to drive him in a car, and when he saw some gypsies going on the road, he just pointed out and said, "What a beautiful life it is." At that time, I feel today that he had in mind that new life to be introduced. He talked about this. Sometimes, infrequently, he used to make a reference of life of labor, life of begging, life of gypsies. We could hardly understand that he was going to introduce this life. Now, in order to give a break to the things that were running breakneck all the time, his responsibility, he had taken the responsibility of so many persons. This is only one aspect, there are many aspects, there are many facets. He had taken the responsibilities of many persons before in the old life. I don't say old life, in the life. That means before the new life. And I would explain to you that anyone who came, "I want to become MeherBaba, your disciple, and I've got all my earnings, all my property, I'm prepared to sacrifice." Baba says, "All right, you give to me everything, and I take your charge." And such were many persons. Quite a number of them. And their entire maintenance was looked after by Baba. Baba himself did not touch money at all. But it was, the accounts and the rest of the things were kept by his mandali. I was one of them, Vishnu was there, later on Erich was there were many others, Gaver was there, and so forth. And it went on and on. Persons were added, money was paid, their maintenance was given. When a family maintenance is given, his son gets married, he wants extra money, that was given. He bears a child, then for his ceremony some money was required, and it went on ad infinitum. And sometime Baba was in a good mood, I wished to discuss, and he allowed us many questions also. And I said, "Baba, how can this go on forever? No source of income, and all expense." And I really wonder till today. I do not know how it was all going on. It is really beyond me. And I don't think anybody in the world, the greatest political leader, would ever undertake such a project. Except for the fact that he knew everything what he was doing. To give a break. The New Life gave it a break. Before the New Life, what Baba did, all his assets that were there, money in the bank and houses and all, everything was sold completely. And the entire money was pooled. And then Ramji Bhai was asked to make the account and make a statement of all those persons who had surrendered to Baba for the matter of their physical assets. And Baba said, now I have to disconnect myself with them. So in spite of the fact that every person who had given much more than the money they give, including their interest and compound interest that was given to them, in addition to that, Baba wanted to give them each one a lump sum and become free of that responsibility. And the entire money was pooled, the accounts were made, and everything was disposed of. To the last pin, nothing was kept in Baba's name at all. And everything was dissolved, and every person was paid out in lump sum, and Baba freed, excepting for a few mandali, to whom he made the beneficiaries of the trust. And that was one aspect of the New Life. Another aspect of the New Life is different tendencies in a man, always getting confused whether begging is good or begging is bad, whether labor is good or labor is bad, whether this life is good or that life is bad. So Baba has accommodated all aspects, different aspects of life that one could really go in for and practice in his life. This new life is not going to end here. Baba says it will go on and on. And there will be books and books written on it. And people eventually will have to conclude and come to certain conclusion, all data gathered together to formulate it and become a book of guidance to the world that directly refers to our life that we should lead. Life that is led is directly connected with spirituality. It is not your theory, it is not your reading. Any theoretical thing in your head doesn't count at all. Spirituality doesn't recognize it at all. It is your act, it is your love, it is your behavior that matters a great deal. That is connected with life. Some try to intellectualize spirituality in such an extent that anything that read, anything that grasp, they know that I have understood everything, I am able to interpret and I am able to give long talks about it and keep their life scrupulously divorced from the intellectual conceptions. That is not spirituality. That is not, at least that is not MeherBaba's spirituality at all. And that is not real spirituality in any sense. It has to be wedded with life. And if it is not there, it is all outward show, however sincere a man may be. Of course, his man is very powerless or helpless. He has to wait until he makes his mind strong or to mold his life accordingly. And that is it. And I may tell you, I have not really thought about the new life, although I was there personally, much more deeply over it. Probably many, many other aspects from different points of views one could interpret this life. It's one of the very most important aspect of MeherBaba's activity, and that really put an end to all the small weaknesses that the Mandali may have had. For instance, I was a very jealous man when I was with Baba. I was to become jealous. I always wanted him to love me the most. And some other thing may be, some other weaknesses may be there in others that he managed completely to wipe it out clean. And we could really, at least I did feel that coming out of the new life, I thought that all my sins are washed off. And not that I have been raised to any higher consciousness at all. After all, I'm just a human being as I was before. But had a nice, as we say, a beautiful Turkish bath. And everything was cleared. And although the tendencies may be there, but they all ages are taken away from that. Not that I would not feel jealous, I would. But not to that extent. I would feel jealous skin deep, not heart deep. Anything, accepting the love of Baba, everything will be skin deep. Or only love of Baba will be heart deep. And that's what we have to really develop. So that is it's a very big question about new life. And in my present position, I'm not competent enough to say more than what I have already said.